The judge doesn't like what she sees.
Then you gave him another card. I know he thinks he's an attractive guy, but you know, you're a smart lady. That's not smart.
My bad.
This is Judge Judy. Julie Bossert is suing Manny Baker for unauthorized credit card charges and the return of property.
Judge's case number 107 on the calendar in the matter of Bossard versus Baker. Parties have been sworn in.
Thank you, Bird. Mr. Baker, I'm going to start with you, sir.
Yes.
You met the plaintiff online, is that right?
Correct.
How?
Through a series of messages. We messaged each other. I was working in her neck of the woods.
Well, how did you message each other? How did you find each other? That had to be a site
it was through a dating app.
What app?
Plenty of Fish.
And in what month did you first connect on this dating app?
I think it was March 2020.
And how far away did you live from each other?
I'm about 300 miles.
When, for the first time, did you meet in person?
I don't have the exact date, but it was late March, probably March 20th-ish.
Did you go to where she resided, or did she come to where you resided?
Actually, she was a hairstylist, and my haircut was getting quite long, and she said, I'd give you a cut if you wanted to come over to my salon. So I went to her salon, and
well, that's 300 miles, sir.
Oh no, I was working. I was
asking you.
I was working in the area at the time.
Oh.
Yep.
What kind of work do you do?
At that time, I was selling walk-through bathtubs. Sales, in-home sales.
Well, you were now 300 miles away from your home. Where were you staying?
I stayed, there was an Airbnb in Spokane that was probably 20 minutes from Post Falls where Julie lived, where the hair salon was.
How long did you stay at this Airbnb?
February 1st to, I used it, I still use it, I still go there. I've been using it. The first time I went there was February 1st of 2020.
So that you use it for what purpose? For selling walk-through bathtubs?
Yeah, I have certain appointments that I have to be on throughout the state of Washington, Idaho, and Oregon.
For selling
yes, ma'am.
Through bathtubs?
Yes, ma'am.
So you work for a company?
Yep, in-home sales.
What's the name of the company?
Safe Step.
Are you a salaried or a commissioned employee?
Commission only.
How long have you been with them?
I started January 1st, did training. Actually, was training around January 11th.
What were you doing before that?
I'm a general contractor by trade, and definitely preferred the in-home sales side of it. When I get into someone's home, it's just second nature to me. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Then it's way more lucrative.
Prior to that, you were in general contracting. Did you work for somebody else, or did you do that yourself?
Mostly self-employed since right out of high school.
How old are you?
49.
Well, you're a grown-up, sir. You're almost a half a century old. So
feel
you
like
were
it.
doing, until January of this year, you were doing what?
We would do...
Until you got this training job with walk-through bathtubs.
Right.
You were doing what to support yourself?
We were doing large remodels.
Were you ever...
Bathrooms.
Who was we?
Me and a team of guys that I've known for the last 20, 30 years. Some new ones, some old ones.
Have you ever been married?
I was.
Do you have children?
2 boys.
How old?
25 and 23.
Did you live with them when they were growing up?
I would never be apart from them. They were my everything.
That's not my question. I said, did you live with them when they were growing up? Is your former wife the mother of those children?
It was legal in 2011.
Well, you say it was legal. That means that you were separated prior to 2011.
Correct. It started in 2009, but we had a $5.5 million bankruptcy that we had to file, and that took a few years to get accomplished.
During that time, did you live together from 2009 until 2011?
2010 is when I moved from the home.
Did the boys stay in the home?
They did.
So that one boy was 13 and one boy was 15?
Correct.
And they lived with their mother?
Right.
Okay. Now, what kind of business were you in that involved, I assume, personal $5 million bankruptcy?
We were a developer and general contractor. We had 70 lots, 18.
Who's we?
Me and my wife.
And were you relieved of debt in the bankruptcy filing?
It was a Chapter 13, yes. There was still some debt that I felt that I still owe even after the bankruptcy.
What did you use the plaintiff's credit card for? She gave you, shortly after you met, a credit card that had a zero balance.
Right.
What did you use it for? Because you were the sole person who used it.
Correct.
What did you use it for?
And Julie did give me one card. Then she took that card back to do another card that had a $10,000 balance on it. And so I paid off the first card that she had given me. She paid it. I paid her to pay it.
What did you put on that card?
We bought supplies.
What did you put on the first card?
Supplies.
Supplies for what?
For a job.
For what?
That we currently had going on in the city of Newport, Washington. There was a small amount of supplies.
Shh. You mean you and the plaintiff?
No, that was just me.
So you bought supplies for your own business.
Correct.
For your own business.
Right.
Not walk through bathtubs on commission. You were doing a side job, something else, with your own business having nothing to do with her, and you used her credit card for some supplies. How much? How much?
The supplies may have totaled $1,500 to $1,800.
Did you pay it off that card?
I did pay off that card.
Did he pay off that card?
I made a decision to take money he gave me to pay off that card, along with other money he gave me to put towards the other card.
Okay, so he gave you money and you paid off that card.
Correct.
Then you gave him another card. In what month?
Well, it was
What month?
It was the same month. May.
So you met in March, the end of March. And by May, when you met, according to you, you said wasn't a romantic thing for either one or both of you. I'm not so sure about you, but I could tell you for sure about him. It wasn't a romantic thing for him. So at some point, what kind of work do you do, by the way?
I'm a salon owner, and I still work behind the chair.
So you work hard for your money?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
assume.
I've had my business for 20 years.
Now, I know he thinks he's an attractive guy, but, you know, you're a smart lady. If you're a business owner for 20 years, you're a smart lady. You meet a guy the end of March, and by May, you're giving him a credit card. That's not smart.
Well, there were prior things that happened to me giving him the card. I was under the impression that we were going into the sewer business together. And as a part of doing business, supplies...
Why in the world would you want to go into the sewer business together with somebody that you met online, that came for a haircut, and a couple of weeks later said, I need a credit card because I'll go into business with you. Right now, I just finished my training in walk-through bathtub sales. I've been through a bankruptcy, a $5 million bankruptcy with my ex-wife who had a business. Why would a smart lady who's run a card to anybody? Do you know that I have children who I love? I have grandchildren that I love more than life. I will give them anything they want except a credit card of mine. A finite amount of money? You want $500? Tell me what it's for, it's yours. You need more? Tell me what it's for. It's yours. If it's reasonable. I wouldn't give somebody a credit card. You give some stranger who you know nothing about, and you're a business gal. I'm a hardworking business guy. I don't understand it. So you're going to have to explain it to me, because according to you, you gave him a credit card. You know, he thinks he's adorable. He probably has done this sort of thing before. I assume he has over the last 10 years or even more when he was married. I'm not exactly sure about that. But I guarantee you, he thinks he's God's gift. Has that air, because no guy that didn't think that about himself would ask somebody and use their credit card and then stiff them, which is what you did. Which is what you did.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you pay off everything that you bought and still own?
Technically, no.
What does technically mean?
I literally made payments, and I've spent $5,500.
Who cares yourself?
Right now, I'm not.
What does that mean? Right now?
I'm under a lot of stress right now. I'm trying to
Me too.
regroup.
I'm getting more stressed by the minute.
Julie Bossard is suing Manny Baker for unauthorized credit card charges and the return of property.
Now, you used her credit card, and then you stiffed her. That's what you say.
Not true.
So in order to do that, you really have to... Really? Not? Did you use her credit card and buy equipment?
Oh, I made payments.
Did you buy equipment?
I did, and I made payments.
Did you pay off... Just a second. Did you pay off everything that you bought and still own and still have possession of? Very easy question. Did you pay off everything that was purchased that you still have possession of?
Technically, no.
What does technically mean?
Well, I literally made payments, and I've spent $5,500 on replacing the tractor.
Who cares what you spent? I don't care about a tractor trailer. She bought a tractor trailer. You weren't in business with her. She got annoyed that you hadn't paid the credit card. She took back the tractor trailer that was in her name. So I don't care.
Okay.
You used the tractor trailer while you had it. Who cares? What I'm asking you, sir, is that was purchased on her credit card.
I do.
That you didn't pay for.
I do.
You do?
Yep.
She's going to get it all back. I'm going to sign an order for a marshal to come and get the following equipment. Read it out.
The following equipment.
What equipment is going to be picked up with the aid of a marshal?
It
Go.
is a jetter and a sewer camera.
How much was it just for my jetter and sewer camera?
The Seattle pump was $2108.25, and the camera was $3423.80.
Well, that's $5,000 worth of stuff, $5,600 worth of stuff.
Correct.
Great. Where is it located?
City of Sumner.
What facility?
My home base. My home.
What facility? It has a name.
Well, we call
Apex
it...
Storage.
It's my
What is
primary residence. Do you want the address?
Is this equipment at your residence? I have
is.
to give the marshal a location to pick it up.
1 Valley Avenue East.
Is that where he lives?
Yes, ma'am.
You'll have a marshal's order. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're done. Bye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
There was an agreement that we had made.
I put my trust into somebody that had no intention of...
out of the agreement and left me kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
So his focus was on anything but our business.
This is icing on the cake for her.
He never continued on with the business to pursue
I
it.
see her point of view.
He was on to pole barns. He was wanting me to give him $20,000 for property to invest in a wedding venue.
We certainly had a lot of conversations.
I get up every day and I work really hard for my money.
She is a hard worker. She's done well for herself, and wish her nothing but the best.
Oh, I'm just going to keep on. This is 1 out of 4 with him.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Labrie versus Taub, step forward.
Sandra Nicole Labrie is suing her former roommate, Jonathan Taub, for the return of her property, motel bills, and punitive damages due to a false arrest.
Miss Labrie, what kind of work do you do?
I'm in the...
It's not an answer. Don't look down here. Look right here. What
I'm
kind
an
of work
artist,
do you do?
entertainment, music, and
You're
I do
an
side
artist in
catering.
entertainment and music.
Yes, and I
Where do you
side-
work?
I do side catering.
You do side catering. What does that mean?
Side catering means like if a person need me to cook them anything, I can prepare a dish for them.
How do you support yourself?
Right now, I'm not. I'm
Right.
under a lot of stress right now. I'm trying to
Me too.
regroup.
I'm getting more stressed by the minute.
I'm trying to
gonna-
regroup my
I'm-
life.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
That night, when the police came, she said, while you're at work, I'm having sex with all kinds of guys, and I have $30,000 in the bank, and I'm not going to pay you a dime. Ha ha.
How did you know her?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sandra Nicole Labrie says former roommate Jonathan Taub won't return her property. She is also suing for motel bills and a false arrest.
I want to know how you support yourself.
Friends.
Friends.
Family and friends.
Family and friends.
Okay.
And where do you live? In what jurisdiction do you live?
Right now, I'm living in Century City.
Century City.
Yes.
That's pretty expensive territory.
In a motel.
You must have nice friends.
Well, I had savings.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Taub?
Swimming pool, pumps, motors, equipment.
What does that mean, swimming pool, pumps, motors, equipment?
I repair them, install them.
You have a company?
Yeah, I work for...
No. You have a company.
Yes. I work for other people, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm self-employed for
What's
many
the name of
people.
your company?
Jonathan's Pool Service.
And are you a corporation? So people pay you In cash?
No, like management companies, things like that. I have a website, Google, 1099. Once in a while I might get paid in cash, but it's 1099 most of it.
Okay, this is your claim. He took you in as a roommate.
Yes.
You were supposed to pay rent.
Yes.
He came up short most of the time on your rent. That's what he says. You came up short on your rent.
I don't think so.
At some point, according to you, you had a disagreement with him. You had to go to the hospital and spend 3 days in the hospital because you had an asthma attack.
Yes.
And then when you came out of the hospital, he had taken all of your stuff, put it in storage, locked you out. Mm-hmm. The police, according to you, told you you could break into the house, right?
Yes.
Police said you can break in through the glass door in the back.
They weren't getting into it.
No, according to you, the police told
Yes.
you to break into the house,
Yes.
is what I'm saying. That's what you
Yes.
say here. And so you broke into the house, then there was a big argument because he came home,
called
found
the
you in the house.
locksmith.
What?
I called the locksmith right here, a locksmith.
Yes.
The police said they weren't getting involved. It was a civil matter.
Yes.
Do whatever I had to do. So I called the locksmith.
Yeah.
Because I was like from a hospital bed to a jail cell the same day.
Okay. When he came home, he told the police that you had slapped him, you were taken to jail, you were ultimately released a couple of days later. So you're suing for a host of things, $5,000 for stolen property, for your motel bills, for punitive damages due to false arrest.
Yes.
And you say she didn't pay rent.
Yes. The thing, I had to press charges because if I left her there, she might damage my property. If I were to stay there, she kept taunting me.
How was she taunting you?
That night, when the police came, she said, while you're at work, I'm having sex with all kinds of guys, and I have $30,000 in the bank, and I'm not going to pay you a dime. Ha ha.
How did you know her? Let's go back for
How'd I
one
meet her?
second. Yeah, how'd you meet her? And when?
Years ago.
Years ago, where?
Online, probably Craigslist.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Does she have her stuff back now?
I put everything in storage.
Does she have her stuff back now is my question.
I don't know. I haven't been in
locked out.
storage.
Is her stuff in storage?
Yes.
Great. And you haven't been there because
I'm
you...
locked out.
Listen to me. Try to clear your mind for a second. Have you been there?
Yes.
And you could take all your stuff.
No, she's lying. I saw.
No,
I drove by. She was in there.
Just a second. You're going to let her in. You just told me her stuff was in storage. You're going to let her into storage.
She
take
has
her
the
stuff.
key.
Do you understand what I'm saying
Yeah.
to you? Follow my words. I don't believe either one of you, actually, so I'm going to get rid of this case very fast. Do you know why I don't believe either one of you? Because you're both full of baloney.
No,
So
I'll
listen to me very.
Listen to me
I'm
very.
not a liar. Listen to me very
Evidence.
carefully. If you told
I'm
me
not
her
a
stuff
liar.
is in storage, then she's going to go and get her stuff from storage, and then the case is over. You don't have a counterclaim. He's not responsible for your motel bill.
Your Honor.
He's not responsible for your motel bill.
I can't get
Carefully.
in storage because it's past due.
Bye.
Really?
Really?
I just excuse you and step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy, her mother-in-law stands behind her son.
She haven't filed for the divorce, and she's not. I will, as soon as I get home. I left the house due to domestic violence.
Judge Judy.
I probably would have let her stay there. She just said, "Hey, I don't have the money. Can you help me out?"
Oh, God. I paid him rent.
But she wasn't like that. She was taunting me.
He owed me, like,
You're a good little boy. Maybe I'll pay you the rent. Hey, can you clean my toilet?
he stole my asthma
I
inhaler.
didn't take her medication, but
Well, he was hoping I would die.
I'll admit I was hoping at one point that she would die because I was angry.
And I just don't want to discuss it.
I just learned probably what it's like to be married, you know? No sex and lots of money out of your pocket.
One dog owner spotted trouble.
He sort of immediately started to growl and be aggressive towards a larger dog.
My dog's never growled in his life, Your Honor.
You don't know that. You only had the dog 6 weeks.
A new owner sees what he wants.
Tails were wagging, no barks, no growling.
It happened so quickly. He had already bitten her and had her in his mouth.
To me, it still wasn't like a vicious attack.
There's no question that your dog injured hers.
This is Judge Judy. Gemma Coster is suing fellow dog owner Michael Daniels for vet bills resulting from an attack at a dog park.
Judge, this is case number 43 on the calendar in the matter of Costa versus Daniels. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Ms. Costner, it is your claim that the defendant's dog attacked your dog in a dog park.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Daniels?
Yes.
Says that actually have been taking your dogs to an area specifically designed for smaller animals. Tell me when this incident took place.
It took place on Friday, July 31st. It was probably about 4:45-ish.
Had you been to this dog park before?
Yes, I've gone multiple times. I take my dogs probably 3 to 4 times a week, about the same time every day.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have 2 terrier mixes. So one is a rat terrier Boston terrier mix, and the other is a Chihuahua rat terrier mix.
Give me approximate weights on each.
Ellie is about 22 pounds. Prancer is smaller. He's 15 pounds.
Reasonable size. What kind of dog do you have, Mr. Daniels?
I have a golden lab mix named Jack.
And about how much does he weigh?
About 91 pounds, according to his last vet visit.
How old is he?
We were told he was 3 years old, Your Honor, when we rescued him back in June.
So you rescued him in June. This happened within about a month of your becoming his new owners.
Correct, about 6 weeks.
So I would assume that you had not been to this dog park frequently before.
Not frequently. We've went the prior 2 weeks prior to this third visit.
Is there, Mr. Daniels, a separate area for large dogs and small dogs that is marked in the dog park?
Yes, Your Honor, clearly marked on the gates of both entrances.
Is that
not a required limit?
Okay, but what is the recommended weight limit for small dogs?
I believe it's 30 pounds for the large side and under 30 pounds for the small side.
Are they fenced in any way?
Yes, the 2 areas are fenced in separately, correct.
Could you tell me why you didn't take your 2 small dogs into the small dog area?
So actually, we tend to go on both sides, so we've taken them onto both areas.
The question was a simple one. I have small dogs, and if there's a dog area that is suggested for small dogs, I would certainly take my dogs into a small dog area rather than one where there are much larger dogs. As a dog owner for 60 years, it's just would be my preference, and there's a certain wisdom to that. That's why they separate the areas large and small. So I'm just curious as to why you took your 2 small dogs into the large dog area.
Honestly, I've done it for a long time, and Ellie enjoys playing with larger dogs. You know, she's 22 pounds, but she's pretty tall, so she likes to play with bigger dogs. And there are way more details to this story that really show that, honestly, the size of my dog has nothing to do with this, and I would love to share those details.
I'm going to let you. I'm just curious as to why, and I'm certainly interested in hearing the details of what you have to tell me. But you're the parent of the 2 dogs. You take 2 toddlers into a toddler pool, and if you take older children who are a little more rough and tumble, I would tend to take my toddler into an area where there were other toddlers, so that if they fell or if they were pushed or something, they would be shoved or pushed by someone of an appropriate size so that they wouldn't be hurt. And I sort of feel the same way about dogs. If you have a 100-pound dog as opposed to a 15-pound dog, a 100-pound dog can cause a great deal of damage to a 15-pound dog. So I, as a parent, would want to exercise due caution. That's what I'm suggesting to you. That doesn't mean that the defendant wasn't at fault. I'll hear you. I'm just talking to you about you being the parent. The dog doesn't have any choice about where to go, just like a toddler doesn't have any choice as to where to go. The parent puts the child in a position. If you put your child in a position where they can get seriously injured because they are tiny and the other kids are bigger, well, that's your responsibility. So now you're going to explain to me how it's Mr. Daniels' responsibility to pay for the vet bills when he had his big dog in the big dog area.
Sure, absolutely. So, you know, on that day, as per you, they went back onto the bigger side where we've interacted with similar dogs.
Just a second.
Yes.
Ms. Costa, you're going very fast. When you say you took them to the bigger side, in order to get them to the bigger side, do you have to go out the smaller side and purposely go into another gate to go into the larger side?
Yes.
So you left the small side, you went to the big side. And?
Correct. And we entered the park, Ellie is the one who was hurt, and she's 22 pounds, just to clarify. So she went off and played. They played for about half an hour. It's a very big park. So after she had played and interacted with the dogs who were there, who she knows, I went to sit in the chairs that are directly across from the entrance. And both Ellie and Prance were sitting next to me. And because I'm facing the entrance, I can see people who are coming in and out of the park. So I did see Mr. Daniels enter the park with his dog, take his dog off the leash. A lot of the dogs were congregated in a shade area. He went over, that dog went over. They played for a little bit, and then pretty quickly, his dog focused on a whippet dog, and that dog sort of started to scream and get scared and start to run towards the gate. I watched his dog chase that dog towards the gate. Other dogs followed, as dogs do, and left the park. And I believe he took
the owner of the whippet.
Yes, correct.
Just the owner of the whippet came and took his dog and left.
Correct. And Mr. Daniels had his dog by the collar. He let go of his dog, and his dog ran very quickly towards the opposite end of the park, probably about 15 to 20 feet from where I was sitting. And he sort of immediately started to growl and be aggressive towards a larger Australian Shepherd dog.
My dog's never growled in his life, Your Honor. That's incorrect.
Just a second, Mr. Daniels.
Okay.
First of all, don't interrupt her. Second of all, you don't know that. You only had the dog 6 weeks. Okay, go ahead.
So I watched as his dog sort of acted aggressively towards this Australian Shepherd. The owner picked up the Shepherd. You know, it was a big dog, but he picked him up, to try to separate him. Once again, Mr. Daniels had his dog.
They weren't just a second.
No.
Yes. Ms. Costa, just a second.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
I told you not to interrupt.
Okay.
They hadn't been fighting.
They had not made contact. They were barking at each other very aggressively.
Correct. They were barking.
Very aggressively, yes.
That's not a...
Fine.
Sorry.
They were barking very aggressively. You're interrupting again, which is irritating.
Sorry, Your Honor.
So now, and...
Okay, so at that point, I said, no, this is not right. This does not look... So I have a split leash to keep the two dogs on. So I put them both on the leash. I stood up. I started to walk towards the gate. I didn't get very far, probably 10 feet, and his dog ran over towards mine, again, barking aggressively. And so I tried to put my foot sort of in between the two dogs and pull my dog back on the leash to separate.
Which dog? You
Ellie.
had two dogs.
Yes, so Ellie, the terrier, she's the 22-pound dog. And so she's the one who interacted with his dog, and his dog was barking.
Okay.
And so
now, when his dog... Just a second.
Yes, absolutely.
Ms. Costa, when his dog ran up to you and to Ellie and was barking, did Ellie bark?
After he growled the second time,
Mr.
yes.
Costa, so his dog barked and growled once, and then Ellie started to bark.
Yes.
Now the two dogs are barking at each other.
Correct. So I...
Just a second. So you have a 22-pound dog barking at a 90-pound dog.
Yes.
Are they facing each other?
Yes.
And you have yours on a leash.
Correct.
And Mr. Daniels does not have his on a leash.
Correct.
Is there any reason why you didn't pick Ellie up?
So
as soon as you saw his dog start to come over to where you were...
It happened so... I'm so sorry.
It happened so...
It happened so quickly, I could not get down to pick her up. He had already bitten her and had her in his mouth.
You lost me at that they were two dogs facing each other and barking at each other. And then you said it all happened so quickly. The Golden had the terrier in his mouth.
Your Honor, barking at each other, it's a split second of barking. I mean, it was probably 4 seconds from when the dog started barking, Ellie started barking. I pulled back on the leash to try to separate them, and immediately his dog had already bitten Ellie.
Now, you want to tell me what you saw, Mr. Daniels?
Sure. When I first got to the park, I let Jack off the leash, and he ran in the back with the other dogs. They kind of congregated near the back area. And tails were wagging, tongue was out, no barks, no growling. And then my dog looked at the... she said it was a whippet. I thought it was an Italian Greyhound. Either way, the dog was probably 10 pounds dripping wet. And it did. It sounded like a squeaky toy. And it started to run, and all the dogs...
It was also a small dog.
It should not have been there. Absolutely, Your Honor. So
it should not have been there.
All the dogs chased him, and that's where she's referring to the incident of my dog showing signs of aggression, which I completely disagree with.
Okay, and then?
So me and another guy, we kind of ran towards the dog. Obviously, we want to stop the situation. So he got there first. He picked up the small dog over his head and kind of, did one of these. And sure, it had some dust on it, but there was no... And during that time frame, there was no growling, bare teeth, no aggressive behavior. It was a dog playing chase.
It was sufficient, Mr. Daniels. It was sufficient so that the owner of the small dog, who I don't think belonged in that park, went over to his dog, picked it up, checked it out to make sure it wasn't injured, because he was afraid, it appeared to you, that maybe his dog had gotten into some sort of a kerfuffle with your dog.
It's possible. I don't believe so, because there was about 6 or 7 other dogs in that area, and he wasn't the dog owner. He was just a guy who was trying to stop.
Mr. Daniels.
Yes?
Try not to zig and zag.
Okay.
This is my business.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You said Jack went over to the plaintiff's dog in a friendly way and just tried to sniff her. The plaintiff's dog panicked, and it snapped and lunged at Jack's nose.
That's what it appeared.
That's not what you just told me.
Michael Daniels attacked and injured her terrier, Ellie.
Okay, you ran over there with the owner of the 10-pound dog because you wanted to make sure that there was no damage done, not by the whippet to your dog, but by your dog to the whippet. Is that a fair statement?
Sure.
Okay, so now you are aware of the fact that, well, you should be alerted to the fact that your dog
Your Honor,
has the capacity to cause alarm to both you and the owner of the whippet.
If I didn't chase after my dog during that incident, I would be a negligent dog owner. Of course I want to. If you heard a squeaky dog.
That's not what I said to you, sir.
Okay.
Now you are in a position so that you know that your dog has the capacity to not only cause concern to you, so that you ran over there, but to the owner of the small dog.
That wasn't his dog.
That's clear that you were aware of that. So are you.
Yes.
That's when you should have left the park. According to you, what you saw was this dog being aggressive towards a small dog that already really wasn't supposed to be in that area. And you had 2 small dogs in the large dog area. And I saw another small dog being potentially the victim of a larger aggressive dog. That's when I would say, you know what? I'm getting out of this large dog area. I'm taking my dog back to the small dog area where the largest dog can't be more than 30 pounds. That's what I would have done as the parent. That's your responsibility. The dog can't take himself or herself to the small dog park. Just as he saw that aggressive behavior, so did you. Now, how much after this first, what you described as aggressive behavior, was there some sort of Mr. Daniels kerfuffle with another dog, where another owner picked their dog up and left? Come on. Was it a minute? Was it 2 minutes? Was it 3 minutes? Was it 5 minutes?
Well, I don't actually remember the incident with the dog that she's talking about.
If you don't remember it, I'll let her describe it to me. How much time elapsed between the first incident that you saw and the second?
Less than a minute. He had let go of his dog, and it immediately ran to the other end of the park and got into the altercation with the second dog.
Okay. So now, Mr. Daniels, you want to describe to me the interaction as you saw it between Miss Coster's dog, Ellie, terrier, and your dog?
The incident with the smaller dog, and Jack was back playing with the other dogs, and it was about the time when I had walked back there. It's about 150 feet. And when I got to that area, I'm walking towards my dog, and there's a skirmish, a scuffle. There's 2 dogs, and then, boom, it just happened, and it ended with her dog getting bit. He didn't latch onto the dog. It wasn't, like a vicious attack. Unfortunately happened. but to me, it still wasn't like a vicious attack. It was a dog just reacting to another small dog that shouldn't have been there.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, but that is not true.
Just a second.
Okay.
Actually, what you said to me was, it happened in a split second, because I said, why didn't you pick up your dog? You said the whole thing happened in a split second.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When you rescue a dog, before you allow that dog to be free in a situation where they can cause injury...
We had 9 training sessions.
The training sessions clearly didn't work.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Gemma Coster claims a dog owned by Michael Daniels attacked her terrier at a dog park.
Now, Mr. Daniels, there's no question that your dog injured hers. And what you said, Jack went over to the plaintiff's dog in a friendly way and just tried to sniff her. Jack is a big dog, so the plaintiff's dog panicked. That's
opinion.
That's what you think. And it snapped and lunged at Jack's nose.
That's what it appeared.
Well, that's not you. That's not, just a second. That's not what you just told me. That's not what you just told me.
Okay.
So now I want to see the vet bills from Ellie, who I assume is okay. Is that right?
She is now okay, yes, after 3 days in the hospital,
Great.
yes.
Okay, so what are the vet bills?
Sure, let me show you. I also have the summary, the discharge summaries, in case you wanted to see the injuries sustained, but I will show you the bills first.
I would like to see the discharge summary as well after I see the bills.
Sure. So I have 2 bills. Do you want me to put them up one at a time?
Yeah, just tell me what the aggregate amount is.
Sure. So the aggregate amount is $4,591.72, and it's the total of 2 bills.
Okay. Now I'm going to see the discharge summary, please.
So here's the discharge summary. And here is the diagnosis of the initial injuries.
Okay. So this is what I think. I think that when you take your dog to a dog park and take it off leash, you assume certain risks. That's why I just never take my dog to a dog park. But I understand a lot of people do. They keep small dogs with small dogs and big dogs with big dogs. I think that it is unwise to place your dog in a situation where they can get this kind of puncture wound and crushed ribs from a dog that is 3 or 4 times its weight. I also think, sir, that when you rescue a dog that is an older dog, a dog that's fully cooked at 3 years old, before you allow that dog to be free in a situation where they can cause injury, you should give it a little more time.
We had 9 training sessions.
Just the training sessions clearly didn't work.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, so I actually think that while you are partially responsible, Mr. Daniels, for the injuries that resulted in her dog being hospitalized for 3 days, which was quite a bill because vets are expensive. I also, Ms. Costa, think that you bear some responsibility. And you bear the responsibility of being an overly indulgent parent. Because if your 22-pound dog likes to play with big dogs, and you say, well, I'm going to take that risk that my dog wouldn't get seriously hurt by a 10-pound whippet in the small dog area, but could get hurt by a 3-year-old rescue dog that the person really doesn't know intimately because they haven't raised it since it's a puppy and they really don't know what its potential is. So you had vet bills of $45.92, and each one of you is going to be responsible for half. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $22.96. Thank you. We're done.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
Bottom line is, a small dog came into a large dog park that shouldn't have been there.
Size has absolutely nothing to do with it. His dog was aggressive.
Things happen, but that's not my fault or my dog's fault.
I'm so happy that she's okay. It was really scary.
It's the $2,000 question.
What did you do with that money?
Took it to his bank like he instructed me to.
There were no deposits to the bank.
His assistant is afraid of the answer.
When he got incarcerated, I tried to tell him that I didn't really want to be involved with his criminal actions because I wasn't trying to be an accessory or anything else like that.
Was that the first time you've been incarcerated?
No, I've been incarcerated before.
Thomas Brooks is suing his former personal assistant, Guy Harrell, for stealing money from him while he was incarcerated and for filing a false restraining order.
Yeah, this is case number 24 on the calendar in the matter of Brooks versus Harrell. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
Mr. Brooks, it is your claim that the defendant who was in your employ somehow scammed you or embezzled you out of money.
Yes, ma'am.
The defendant said that he was working for you. He has a counterclaim. He says that you owe him money for wages. I got a few questions. You hired him, according to what I've read in your complaint, as an assistant to someone who has some sort of handicap condition. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is your handicap condition?
I was bedbound at the time I met Mr. Harold in 2017.
No, just a second. Let's go slowly. You were bedbound.
Yes, ma'am.
In what year?
2017.
Why were you bedbound?
Because I was 525 pounds in a room and board facility.
Was the state awarding you any money, any funds for an assistant?
Negative. No. I had my own money.
From what?
I've had money I've been saving up, and while I was incarcerated, I had money saved up, and I was living in a room and board.
Saved up from what?
From many years of Social Security that accumulated, plus I had money.
Okay, let's go slowly, Mr. Brooks.
Yes, ma'am.
From many years of Social Security. Now,
And
you don't look like you're old enough to collect Social Security, so you were on Social Security disability.
Yes, ma'am.
Starting when?
I've been on it for approximately 22 years.
And how old are you, sir?
I'm 58 of years.
According to what I read in both the complaint and the answer, you were incarcerated.
Yes, I was.
From when to when? This last time?
February 8th of 2018, I was arrested. I was released on the 15th of December of 2018.
So you were incarcerated for approximately a year?
Approximately a year, 10 months, ma'am.
Was that the first time you've been incarcerated?
No, I've been incarcerated before.
This last time that you were incarcerated, sir, what facility were you at?
Robert Presley Detention Center, Riverside County Sheriff's Department.
Were you in the hospital wing?
Yes, 7th floor medical, in my own cell.
During the time that you were there, you were on a medical unit for the entire 10 months.
Yes, ma'am. I always am.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you there pre-trial or post-conviction?
I was there from the date of arrest to the date of sentence to the date of my release.
So that you were sentenced?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were convicted?
Yes, ma'am.
Convicted. You took a plea?
Yes, ma'am.
To what?
Harassing phone calls and a threat and
on this restraining order?
Yes.
Immediately prior to this incarceration, when was the immediate time that you were arrested and incarcerated prior to this arrest in February of 2018?
2008, I was arrested at state prison. I went to state prison, released in 2015. I was released on AB 109 due to my medical condition. They placed me in a room board where I was living at the time. I'm Mr. Harrell.
Now, I'm going to give you, sir, unless I'm really interested in this, I would like you to tell me, in as short a period of time as possible, what money you think he took from you and how.
I submitted all the proof to you in your records, the copies of the accounts, the checks that he went and picked up from the bank under my name. He also collected 2 payments from the Superior Court of Riverside in the amount of $500 and $1,500.
$1,000. They're both
$1,500 payment.
Just a second. Don't interrupt him.
$1,500 payment was one. $500 payment was the second. That money was never provided to me either.
What money was that for, this $500 and $1,500?
I filed a small claim action against my former landlord, Wilma. I was awarded $3,800, but it was reduced to $2,500. The harassing call, the threat, and the violation
No. Oh, was that against your landlord?
Negative, ma'am. That was a small claims action I filed prior to being arrested against my landlord for violating numerous code violations. I sued her in court. I won the judgment, but I was in jail at the second trial de novo, which he obtained illegally. Mr. Harrell went to the court, even though I filed a motion to the court that he did not want to go pick it up. On March 1st and April 2nd, he went to the court, picked up 2 payments.
Who filed the motion for you? Who filed the motion for you?
It was done while I was out of custody. Before I got arrested, I filed
Who filed
I did, ma'am.
Personally, not with a lawyer.
No,
you personally did.
No lawyers are allowed, no.
What was the name of your landlord?
Wilma.
And what was the name of the victim in the case that the state had against you for violation of a protective order?
That was a person named Sheila.
She was never a landlady of yours.
Negative. This was somebody that I had legal action against that works at the court that filed charges against me for violating and arresting.
Oh, no, just a second. This was another person that you filed a small claims court action against.
Court reporter.
I filed a...
Sheila.
Sheila does not matter. Prior to being
That
arrested.
I understand. What I'm asking you is, I asked you the name of the victim
There's
in
two.
the protective
Sheila.
order.
There's two.
You said
Sheila.
her name was Sheila. Sheila was a person that you had a business dealing with, a landlord, but not a social friend?
Negative.
She's a court reporter, ma'am, that he was suing because
court
she didn't get
reporter?
him documents in time to appeal his eviction from the house with Castellanos.
So Sheila
Court reporter.
made an application for an order of protection because you were threatening or harassing her.
I was suing her.
That was granted.
Correct.
Just a second. That was granted. And then you were incarcerated for almost a year for violating that order of protection.
Well, along with other
I'm
charges.
just getting...
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. But the landlady against whom you were successful in getting a judgment for $2,000 was the subject of that case where Sheila allegedly didn't get the minutes in time so that you could appeal. Am I getting that right?
No, that was a separate case, Your Honor. This was his illegal detainer
separate-
case. Yeah, the legal detainer case is the case that she was the court reporter for, and because she didn't give him the report in time, his lawyer, which was the free clinic.
The transcript.
Yes.
When I was evicted, I took legal action against me.
And the person who evicted him was the person against whom he got this $2,000 judgment? Or
Correct.
was that another eviction?
That was the only eviction that I was involved in.
That was the only one?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you were working for him. Did you have an hourly wage or did you do just...
It was just like a
per job?
A per task, right. Per task, I would get paid approximately $200 to $300 per task, whether it was filing paperwork for him or actually appearing on his behalf in court. Those were always like $300 to cover for the time and the travel.
How many times did you appear in court for him?
I lost track. Over approximately half to a dozen times. Most of the time it was just small claims. When he got incarcerated, that's when I tried to tell him that I didn't really want to be involved with his criminal actions because I wasn't trying to be an accessory or anything else like that. So that's where we're at.
Now, did you get from the court $2,000,
Correct.
$500,
$1,000
and $1,500?
is $1,000 payments in 2 installments.
$1,500 and one for $500.
Your Honor, I received the checks, and I was there at the hearing when they issued the amounts for the check.
And they were
$1,000 each.
$2,000.
Correct.
Now, on what date did you get that $2,000 check?
The first payment was...
Those two?
Yes, March 1st, I believe.
18.
18.
Don't ask him.
I don't remember, Your
Don't
Honor.
ask.
So 18. March 1st.
Was he incarcerated at the time?
Yes, he was.
So it had to be March of 18.
Yes.
So that's $1,000.
Correct.
And when was the second check that you got?
April 2nd.
Of 18.
Correct.
What did you do with that money?
I took it to his bank. I took the checks to his bank like he instructed me to. That's all I ever did when he had money that he needed deposited was I took it to the bank and they handle it.
And you made a deposit in his name?
I just gave it to the clerk. I don't physically do any deposits. I just give them. He already arranges
Well, you
it.
have to. You can't just hand them. Just a second.
Go ahead.
You can't just walk into a bank and hand them a check. There are little cubby holes.
Yeah.
You take out a slip.
I understand.
Or you have a slip already prepared.
He had
and
the
you
bank
hand
do that.
and they make a deposit. What?
He had the bank do that prior to my arrival. They handled all that stuff for him.
What's the name of the bank that handled this stuff for
Well,
him?
it's no longer in business because he sued them, and I guess they folded up shop. That's the best that I can determine.
What bank?
I
What is the name of the bank?
don't know the name. It's out
What
of
was the
business.
name of your bank, sir?
My bank was First National Bank of Southern California, ma'am.
And he sued them
Did
as
you
well.
sue them?
Yes, ma'am.
Shh.
I'm sorry.
Did you sue them?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a lawyer?
No, ma'am.
Did you...
But the thing is, there was no deposits made to my account at all.
Mr. Brooks,
Yes, ma'am.
in what year did you sue the bank?
It's still ongoing, ma'am. They're getting an attorney.
It's ongoing?
Yes, ma'am. See, they tried to get restraining orders
And
against
that...
me.
Just a second. That case against the bank is still ongoing.
It's not
Is
against
that
the
what you
bank,
just
ma'am.
said to
It's
me?
against the bank employees, a couple of bank employees that were violating the credit union or policies. But they're trying to get a restraining order to this day. And it's still ongoing on that.
Did it have anything to do with these
Negative.
deposits?
No, nothing at all, ma'am. There were no deposits to the bank.
I don't know that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
As of September 2019, which is after you were released, he's still asking you for payment.
I don't owe him no money. I have proof.
I didn't ask you whether you were owing him
Okay.
anything, sir.
Thomas Brooks says his former personal assistant, Guy Harrell, stole settlement money from him while he was in jail. Guy is countersuing for unpaid wages.
Now, Mr. Brooks, how many lawsuits have you filed within the last 3 years?
Total of 5 in 2 counties.
It's not true.
Total of 5?
Yes, ma'am.
In the last 3 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Filed?
I can't even answer that, to be honest with you.
What were they?
I've had different types of suits.
Shh. I'm just asking you, in the last 8 years.
I can't
You just
tell you
told
that,
me in the last 3, one of which you were incarcerated. So in 2 years, you filed 5 lawsuits. Prior to being incarcerated, for the immediate 5 years before you were incarcerated, how many lawsuits did you file?
I can't tell you that, honestly. I could say probably in the last 5 years, 4 years since I've been out of custody, maybe 5 or 6, to be honest with you. I can't really remember. I don't keep track of that.
I said prior to you going to jail.
Probably 4 to 5, ma'am. I don't have the exact amount.
Mr. Harrell, you started to do work for him in 2017?
Correct, January.
Prior to that, do you know how many lawsuits Mr. Brooks had filed?
No clue whatsoever. I didn't even know anything about his legal issues until 2018 when he...
Well, I'd like to know how you met him.
I worked for a cab company known as AA and then Empire Cab, which they're still in business, but they mostly do non-emergency medical transport now. I got a random call from a customer, which was turned out to be Mr. Brooks. I want to say it was approximately around the 10th of January, 2017. Never had any prior dealings or information about him. I learned a lot in the years. Come to his house, he handed me his debit card.
Okay, I got it. That's how you became involved with him.
Correct.
Now, how many times did you make deposits in his account?
Less than half a dozen.
And he got out of jail in December of 2019.
18,
Or
ma'am.
2018. When, for the first time, did Mr. Brooks accuse you of taking money
Never.
from him?
Never. Not until he tried to serve me, I guess, in March, but I never looked at the paperwork.
March of 2020?
I believe so.
March of 2020. Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
You got out of jail almost 2 years ago. When, for the first time, did you ask Mr. Harrell for an accounting of any of this money?
I've always...
Never.
Can he answer? He has never given me a receipt. I've asked for an accounting numerous times. I've also requested the county of Riverside to get an accounting. He will not give receipts for nothing to nobody. He tells people what they need. I give him my debit card for whatever service he asks for. And he swipes the card, and he puts in my PIN and my code.
All right. Mr. Brooks, when you got out of jail in December of 2018, did you continue to use Mr. Harrell's services?
Not at all. He wouldn't even pick me up from the jail to take me back to my room and board.
Mr. Harrell, from the time you went to jail until today?
No, I did not say that. I said I've not used his service. I have called him numerous times. He hangs up on me or tries to block my number. So I have asked him numerous times for receipts or accounting and the money.
No, I'm not asking you receipt or accounting, Mr. Brooks. I'm not asking you receipt or accounting. What I'm asking you is whether Mr. Harrell has done any work for you, any of these small jobs,
Negative.
since you got out of jail.
Nothing. He refuses.
Is that correct, Mr. Harrell?
That's absolutely incorrect.
Well, when was the last time you did a job for Mr. Brooks?
The last correspondence officially that I have with him, where I'm actually still doing stuff for him, which was basically just doing either court documents, like affidavits for him, or actually showing up in court. The last refusal that I have...
show me.
Okay. The last refusal that I have for him in an email...
All I want you to do is show me some evidence, Mr. Harrell, that Mr. Brooks, who is clearly litigious, has used your services since he's out of jail.
As of September 16, 2019, he's still trying to get me to do services for him when I emphatically tell him. You know, he keeps sending me documents. Okay.
Just
it's
don't
down
say
here,
anything.
Your Honor.
Let me read this.
This is my statement to him.
I see it.
Okay.
Judge Judy.
Where that he owes you money.
He does owe me the money he stole from the court judgment and the bank.
I suggest, Mr. Brooks, you find something else to do other than sue people.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Thomas Brooks has accused his former personal assistant, Guy Harrell, of stealing money from him while he was locked up.
Okay, go ahead.
He keeps wanting me to work on his behalf. And I
Wanting
told him,
to.
stop. I've already told you to contact me with payment, and then we'll continue to do business after that. But he couldn't get it in his head.
Wanting him to do work is one thing. Doing it is another.
I appeared at least 2 or 3 cases between the time of him being incarcerated and the time that I told him that I'm refusing to do work for lack of payment. And he just continues to send me...
Just a second.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Now, that's September 16th, Your Honor. I have another one from the 23rd. Okay.
I want you to be quiet. I'm reading.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
Mr. Harrell wrote to you on September the 16th of 2019. Am I reading this right?
Correct.
I've asked you repeatedly, contact me by mail with a check, nothing else. Stop contacting me. What was that about?
He keeps thinking I owe him $4,500, and I don't. And I have the statement showing he's been paid in full. I have his PayPal account screenshot and all the copies of the checks.
So, as of at least that date, the 19th, he has something else to show me. As of September 2019, which is after you were released, he's still asking you for payment. He's asking you for a check.
I don't owe him no money. I have proof.
I didn't ask you whether you were owing him anything, sir.
He's asking for money.
I said he was still asking you for a check.
Yes.
Okay, let me see the next time, Mr. Harrell.
This is the emphatic denial from him on September 23rd, where he just listed all the threats and demands for, for me if I was going to come after him.
You mean that was for your request to him for money?
Just and for him to stop contacting me. And he sent me this long email about all the factors of which he wasn't going to pay me.
Well, Mr. Brooks.
Yes.
This communication from you doesn't say anything about him owing you any money.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. Now, your his claim that you owe him money. You don't say anywhere that he owes you money.
He does owe me the money he stole from the court judgment and the bank. I have the copies of them. I'd like to submit my proof, please.
We're done. We're done. Mr. Harrell.
Yes, Your Honor.
I would suggest you not do any more work for him. Do you understand?
I haven't, Your Honor.
Okay, good. And you haven't, according to this, in 2 years, right?
Approximately
you
since
told him to leave you
June
alone.
of 2019,
right.
Correct.
So in 2 years, yeah.
Can I show my exhibit,
I suggest,
please?
Mr. Brooks, you find something else to do other than sue people. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
That's fine, no problem.
The counterclaim, Your Honor?
Gone.
Counterclaim?
Gone.
So I'm not going to get paid?
I just answered you.
Okay, all right.
It's 2 years old. That's correct. Goodbye, both of you. We're done.
This case is concluded. Let's step out.
And on the next Judge Judy.
I just completely walked into the window with trash in my hand and fell back.
He was intoxicated.
You saw him fall.
I did, and he called his mom right away. She told him to sue them. That I heard.
Judge Judy.
He's going to continue on this. He's not going to stop.
No, I'm not. I see what I got coming.
One of his lawyers told me when I first got involved with his criminal cases, I should run from this guy, not walk.
I had harassing phone calls. Yes, that's a misdemeanor.
Money when you're in business is key. I mean, I got thousands, tens of thousands.
I count when I'm in jail. What else am I supposed to